in. I'm gonna get this. Just hang on one second. I'm gonna get this stream uh, sent out to my Telegram groups and stuff. I'm still on my mobile devices with my iPad um as well as my iPhone. So I'm gonna get this copied on my iPhone and go ahead and send it out to my YouTube and Telegram groups. And hang on one second. So hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for all who have tuned in from South Africa or Botswana or Namibia or wherever you may find yourself. And all right, just hang on one second. I just really don't have any other way of doing this. So just hang on one second. All right, so two people have already tuned in. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for being here. And okay, what I'm going to talk about this impeachment of Donald Trump is ridiculous. Donald Trump is going to leave office in 6 days anyway. Biden has been declared the president-elect, although there was a lot of voter fraud in that election. Now, Biden has been declared president-elect. Donald Trump's set to leave office in 6 days. Okay? But right now they're talking about declaring Trump impeached when he's got 6 days left in office when he didn't do anything. He did not do anything that violated the Constitution. He did not encourage the people to protest violently. He called for restraint. He called for peaceful protest. And he also called for, if people couldn't control their impulses and act violently, he called for them to go home. And then Twitter banned him. And yes, okay, here's the thing. Twitter is a private company, okay? But then Parler came out, and then the internet shut down Parler. Now, Parler didn't control a lot of their extremists, even though they didn't encourage it. And Parler also had some bad software where it was easier to be hacked. But at the same time, had Parler been a radical leftist platform or a leftist platform, the internet wouldn't have gone after Parler. That's just what we're going through right now. Okay, just the bad double standards between liberals and conservatives, bad double standard between leftists and conservatives, and it's pretty sick. It's actually very sickening. Okay, this is going to be a short stream. I'm only going to do this for about 20 minutes or so because I'm going to be listening to Ronaldo Host and Chris Wyatt, and I'm wearing one of Ronaldo Host's old school T-shirts. This is back when he produced his merchandise in the United States via Teespring. And Chris Wyatt has current merchandise there now through Indaba Africa, and I have an Indaba Africa coffee mug. I also have an Indaba Africa shirt. So thanks to the 7 people who have tuned in. Thank the 2 likes right here. If you guys have any comments or questions, you cannot call in. I don't have that set up, and you can't be a guest, but you can type in any comments or questions you may have, and I will be happy to answer them. I did not expect to be streaming today. Had a busy day ahead, but some things got delayed, so here I am. Okay. We'll talk about all right, we'll talk about Trump's presidency. Okay, Trump was an excellent president. Did he do everything that I agreed with? No. I'll give you an example. He did not treat South Korea very well, and Trump didn't understand that. Okay, yes, the United States paid for most of the forces being there, but South Korea paid more than he admitted. And also, the United States has in that country what you call operational control, which means if North Korea attacks, the United States decides how best to counterattack, and South Korea has to go along with it. So it's not like the United States doesn't get what they pay for. And the reason being is because South Korea has been an isolated kingdom for over 5,000 years, and even though North Korea is the enemy, it's hard for them not to see the North Koreans as their brothers or somebody with the same blood, because Korea had been known as the hermit kingdom for the longest time. So South Koreans want the U.S. there because they know the U.S. are going to handle North Korea in a more aggressive manner. Now, that being said, unemployment was the lowest under President Trump. The stock markets were at an all-time high before COVID-19. The stock markets were the highest ever in United States history. And unemployment was the lowest before COVID-19. Jobs were less jobs were being outsourced. President Trump was a proponent of keeping jobs in America, and he was one of the first U.S. presidents to actually stand up to China and their unfair trade practices. China, and that's why he put a lot of tariffs on goods that were sent to China, because China, there was a lot of unfair trade practices, and we were at an all-time high in a trade deficit with China. They weren't buying our products when we were buying a lot of their products. So the few products that they did buy, Trump put heavy tariffs on them, which balanced the trade situation. And at the end of the day, that helped. And people don't understand that, and they just think that Trump would look. A fascist person would have put all the protesters and all the congressmen in jail for all the bad things that were said about President Trump. President Trump may have tweeted too much about it and may have not let things go sometimes, but he didn't throw them in jail. He didn't impeach any congressmen or women who disagreed with him. So Ashley over there says, "Hey everyone, hey Ashley, how are you? Hope all is well with you." So I want to ask you guys, what did you guys think of President Trump? Did you guys think he was a good president for the United States? Did you think he was a bad president? If so, why? Tony Nagy says, "Hey Ashley." So what's up, Tony? How are you? Doing all right? Hope all is well with you, Tony. I thought Trump was, like I said, I thought he was a good president. The economy and unemployment and all that was doing really good. Unemployment was low. The economy was high. And also, he ordered the killings of ISIS terrorist, the founder of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. And also recently, he ordered the assassination of the number 2 man in Al-Qaeda. He was bin Laden's right-hand man, al-Zawahiri. And al-Zawahiri was operating basically in Iran, and Iran for many years has been harboring Al-Qaeda fighters. Al-Qaeda fighters, when we went to the U.S., when the U.S. Went to Afghanistan to try to get bin Laden, there were a lot of Al-Qaeda fighters that escaped over the Afghanistan-Iran border. And Iran was harboring them, and that had been going on for years. Iran also aids a Shiite extremist group called Hezbollah. They send billions of dollars in aid to Hezbollah every year. They also gave the 9/11 hijackers substantial information, and the 9/11 Commission report reported that. If you guys have any questions about that, I highly recommend that you go watch the documentary Iranium, and I'm gonna see if I can get that on the link here and show it to you guys. And that explains a lot about how evil of a regime that Iran has ever since the Ayatollah Khomeini in 1979 overthrew the Shah of Iran. So just hang on one second. But yeah, it was. It's been a tough situation, and if you guys ever seen the movie Argo, I highly recommend that you guys go see that. Ben Affleck starred in it, and it was people. These were people that escaped the U.S. Embassy after Iran took it over, and they were hiding in the Canadian Embassy, and the American CIA went and rescued them. And I'm gonna, like I said, post a link to this documentary right here if I can find it. YouTube must have taken it out, but yeah, it's called Uranium. I'm gonna try Uranium documentary and see if that happens. No, it was on YouTube, but YouTube must have taken it off. Dang. But yeah, I highly recommend that you guys go purchase it on Amazon. And okay, here's the thing also with Iran. Iran denies that they helped Al Qaeda, that they've harbored Al Qaeda, but as I told you, that is just a straight up lie. But then also Joe Biden wants to renew the Iran nuclear deal that Obama did, and Obama sent Iran billions of dollars in the middle of the night. But Henry Kissinger, former U.S. Secretary of State, says that there's too many loopholes in the deal, that Iran and the deadlines of the deal are just ridiculous. So Iran is not going to abide by it. So Henry Kissinger says it would be the biggest mistake for Joe Biden to renew the nuclear deal with Iran. And I firmly believe that Henry Kissinger is right on this. Iran and the ANC has a strong relationship with Iran, and I wish they wouldn't. It's a dangerous thing for the ANC to do something like that, quite frankly and bluntly. So Check the live chat here. Okay, Tony Nagy says Alberta warm today, praying for the USA. Yeah, Argo, thumbs up. Yes, Argo is an excellent movie. Ashley says Trump's a legend. He does more than just a great man of principle and action. That is true. Um, that is true. And a lot of the allegations that President Trump colluded with Russia and Vladimir Putin, there's been no proof of that. The FBI investigated it for years and years and years, and there's no proof of that. President Trump has not colluded with Russia, and actually, under President Trump, U.S.-Russia relations were not good. He stood up to Putin and his illegal invasion of Ukraine. Obama was the one that didn't take any action under when Putin invaded Ukraine. Obama condemned it, but Obama didn't take action on it. Now, Obama did authorize the killing of Osama bin Laden. He signed the paper. You have to give him credit for that. I didn't vote for the guy, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Okay. Ashley says Cape Town is a bacon. Yeah, it's summer in South Africa, and it's winter over here. It's normally been pretty warm in Mississippi this winter, these winter months, but the last couple of days, it's gotten really, really cold. So I just can't get over that. In December and January, those are the hot months for South Africa, whereas in the United States, above the equator, those are the cold months. And when many South African expats came to South Korea, because South Korea is above the equator, same, and that was kind of a trip for them to get adjusted, having December and January as the cold months, and then, and then July and August is the hot months. Does Obama have Muslim links? No. If you read Dinesh D'Souza's book, Obama's America, Obama was an anti-colonialist, and he didn't want to destroy America. What he wanted to do was he wanted to reduce America's footprint in the world and make America just another nation and not a superpower, which is dumb. The problem with that is China was still being a superpower, so was Russia. So you eliminate the U.S. as a superpower, you get a lot much worse superpowers. And I recommend that you guys do read the book, Obama's America. If you haven't read the book, go see the movie. The movie's only like an hour and 28 minutes long, and he touches on it. Prime example, Obama banned offshore drilling for oil in the United States, wouldn't let the U.S. oil companies do it, but he encouraged it in Brazil and Colombia and let our Brazilian and Colombian allies do it. And that's one example that Obama did. Those other countless examples. Obama hated the UK as well, and the UK and the US have a special relationship. That there's endless examples of that. Like, prime example, I believe the Falkland Islands belong to the United Kingdom, and the U.S. has backed the United Kingdom in that, and every president except for Obama changed the U.S. State Department's policy and said that the Falkland Islands belong to Argentina. Never mind that 99% of the Falkland Island residents say that it belongs to the UK, and they want to stay a British territory. Tony Nagy says, we're the closest to the sun, many flooding going to happen, unfortunately. Well, you better prepare yourselves, because the ANC's not going to send any flood aid, or if they do, it's going to be messed up. And if you're a white South African, the ANC's probably not going to send aid at all, whether if they can or not. If any of my viewers here are black South Africans, you will be on the ANC's list, but they are so incompetent in delivering the aid that it's probably not going to get to you in time. Hate to say it, but it's true. It's just that inept of a government. So yeah, like Obama's father, Barack Hussein Obama Sr., he was a Muslim for a little while, but he later became an atheist, and it was the same with Barack Obama's stepdad, Lolo Soetoro. He doesn't have any Muslim links, and he was born in America. He was born in a hospital in Hawaii. I'm not part of the birther movement, but at the same time, he was one of the worst presidents the country had, and he also didn't do hardly anything for Africa. The president of the United States that did the most for Africa, honestly, was George W. Bush. Aid to Africa was increased like 3 or 4 times our national average under President Bush. Malaria in Africa was at an all-time low under President Bush because of all the prescription drugs and anti-malaria drugs he donated. AIDS were a lot lower if the countries accepted President Bush's aid contraceptive drugs at little to no charge. So many Africans named their kid after President George W. Bush. He had like an 80% approval rating in all of Africa. So I think Biden's going to do the same. I mean, Obama did a little bit for Africa, but what little he did for Africa was a continuation of President Bush's policies. And that's how it's going to be the same under Biden. Now, Trump really didn't do much for Africa either. Trump basically was America first, but we were so down for about 8 years under Obama, we had to have a president that was going to put America first and make America a superpower again, or otherwise nobody would have been there to counter China's aggression, which is another thing. Africa does not need to be dealing with China and making all the deals. It's a one-sided deal. China's not going to develop your country. They're just going to deplete your resources, and they're going to prop up these dictators. And the dictators are going to get all the money. And then when China sucks all the resources out of Africa, they're going to leave. All they're going to do is be building a bunch of palaces and sending a bunch of money to the African dictators that are already there. And and because they're not the West, many African leaders think that it's going to be great and it's going to be different than Western colonialism. No, it's going to be worse, because at least under Western colonialism, it wasn't a thing to be proud of, but at least Africa was helped developed. And a lot of Africans, not as many as people think, but still a good number of Africans were lifted out of poverty because a lot of them had jobs. But in China, when the China comes, almost no Africans have had jobs thanks to these Chinese companies. And then hang on one second. I'm going to check the chat right here. Okay, Futsarko says, come here if you want to hear the truth. Thank you very much. I try to speak the truth every chance I get. Ashley says, I never liked any of the Bushes. I tried. It just couldn't. There was a lot that they did that I didn't agree with. President Bush spent too much money. Our federal deficit was at an all-time high, and Iran posed a way bigger threat than Iraq. He probably shouldn't have went into Iraq, but he made a great effort to keep us safe from terrorists, and he took great action after 9/11. And before Donald Trump, the stock markets did hit high under President Bush from time to time. Where the economy went down was President Bush nor President Clinton. Both Bush's father and Bush Jr. and President Clinton, none of them tried to limit the flow of credit. Too many middle and lower class people were taking out loans that they couldn't pay back, and banks like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and then other banks were giving them the loans, and then foreclosure was at an all-time high. I mean, we had janitors and truckers living in $2 million homes. And you just can't do that. So some of it also was on the people too, for taking out loans that they knew they couldn't pay back. Okay, Dylan over here says, why was Carter so controversial in America? And I'll tell you, the Shah in Iran led an oppressive regime. The Shah in Iran did. But the Shah also provided a lot of intelligence for the Soviet Union, because Iran and the Soviet Union were together. Also, women's rights under the Shah were at an all-time high. But because of some of the Shah's dictatorial practices, Carter wouldn't support the Shah. And he wouldn't take action when the U.S. Embassy in Iran was stormed, and the 5 Americans that were held hostage there were held for 444 days. They weren't released until January 20th, 1981, when Ronald Reagan took office. He offered to he said he was going to take action that day unless the hostages were released, and it worked. Also, the economy was very, very low under President Carter. Now, Jimmy Carter was a good Samaritan, very nice guy, but he was just basically incompetent. There was a lot of things that, he let the hostage crisis in Iran drag on way, way too long. He also called America one time the stingiest nation on earth. Never mind, more Americans percentage-wise contribute to a charity than the French or the Germans. That's just the reality of it. And also, President Carter didn't play hardball with the Soviet Union very well. The Soviets invaded Afghanistan under President Carter's watch, and he basically didn't do anything. So that's basically what happened. Futsarko says, handsome dude. Thank you very much, Futsarko. So yeah. Are you talking about Jimmy Carter? Okay, yeah. No, he was a good-looking guy when he was president, but he wasn't an effective president. Let's just put it that way. Not an effective president at all. But I'm going to go just about 2-3 more minutes, because Renato is about to start streaming with Chris, and I want you guys to see that. I'm going to participate in that stream as well. I'm not going to be a call-in or anything, but I'm going to be checking it out and things like that. So I'm just trying to keep you guys here, keep you guys occupied until the stream with Chris does start. So thanks to the 12 people who've tuned in. Thanks for the 7 likes. Much appreciated. So, are you guys going to boycott Twitter? I'm not. I'm going to stay on Twitter. At the end of the day, it helps me keep in touch with people. At the end of the day, Twitter is a private company. They legally can do what they did, but at the same time, they are playing a very one standard game. And some people are saying YouTube's doing that. This YouTube channel called China Uncensored believe that China is secretly controlling YouTube, and the guy makes a good case of it. The guy that China Uncensored interviewed said when he made a video saying Taiwan is a country, whether if you like it or not, YouTube demonetized him, said he was promoting video game violence. This is a crazy thing. He said he's not sure how video game violence is related to saying that Taiwan's a country. And that makes someone suspicious. I'm not saying China's controlling YouTube. I'm not saying they're not, but for something like that to happen, it's pretty crazy. Tony Nagy says, "Hey Rainier," and then Futsargo says he said he's done with Twitter, no more Trump shame. Futsargo, the only thing I'm going to ask is where are you going to go? The internet shut Parler down. I mean, they did. The internet shut Parler down. And if you guys have any more questions about Africa, like I said, I'm going to promote them on the show, but I recommend that you guys check out a Ghanaian living in America named George Ayittey, and you spell Ayittey Ayyittey. He talks about how Africa, and he was opposed to colonialism, but he doesn't blame a lot of Africa's problems on colonialism or the West. He blames a lot of Africa's problems on the current corrupt leaders who embezzle a lot of money and take money from the people. And the best book he ever wrote was called Africa Unchained, and I recommend that you guys check it out. On some of my future live streams, I'm going to read some passages from the book, but he offers the best fresh insight into Africa that I've ever seen in my life. And Chris White recommends this guy as well. And Futsarko says, okay, yeah, I mean, you'll be surprised. It's like some really cool stuff. All right, well, it looks like the stream's about to begin for Ronaldo and Chris. I'm signing off. I will see you guys later. Thanks to the 10 people, more than 10 people, but thanks to all who have tuned in. Thank you very much for the 9 likes, and hope everybody is doing well. Take care. God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dylan says, thanks for the stream. See you now. And Ashley says, okay, bro. Okay. Okay, bye. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.